Every single day offers you a choice before it even begins. That moment between opening your eyes and stepping into the world is more powerful than most people realize. It is not just another day. It is a declaration of who you are, what you value, and the standards you will live by. To begin with clarity and purpose means that you take ownership of your state, your decisions, and your focus before the noise of the world can pull you in multiple directions. Most people drift into their days unconsciously. They wake up, react to emails, messages, and obligations, and only later realize that they never intentionally decided how they would show up. But when you wake up and choose clarity, you create a blueprint for everything that follows. You decide the lens through which you will see the day, the energy you will bring, and the actions you will take. Clarity is not something that comes passively. It is forged by intentional reflection and a commitment to define what truly matters. When you prime your mindset, emotions, and physiology before you start, you set the internal conditions for excellence. Your thoughts, feelings, and body are interconnected, and the state you bring to the day shapes every choice you make. Most people underestimate how much their internal state determines their external results. A mind filled with doubt, fear, or distraction cannot produce extraordinary outcomes no matter how talented or intelligent the person may be. Similarly, a body that is lethargic, tense, or misaligned will drag your mind into mediocrity. That is why priming is essential. Priming means deliberately engaging your mind in empowering thoughts, your emotions in constructive states, and your body in movement that reinforces confidence and energy. This alignment between mind, body, and emotion creates a platform from which you can operate at your highest level. When you do this consistently, your state becomes a non-negotiable foundation, and external circumstances have far less power to derail you. Setting standards and intentions before external distractions is critical because the world will always demand more of your attention than you are willing to give. Notifications, interruptions, urgent tasks, and the expectations of others constantly pull you away from your priorities. Without clearly defined standards and intentions, you default to reaction. But when you take a moment before the day begins to define the rules by which you will live, you create boundaries that protect your energy and focus. Standards are not arbitrary. They are the principles that govern your actions, your decisions, and your behavior. Intentions are the commitment to live in alignment with those standards. Together, they provide a framework for consistent, high-level performance. Before the first meeting, message, or distraction, you decide how you will respond, what you will prioritize, and who you will become during the day. This deliberate choice transforms reactive living into proactive mastery. Aligning focus and energy with your highest priorities multiplies effectiveness exponentially. Most people spread themselves thin because they fail to concentrate on what truly matters. Energy is a finite resource, and without intentional focus, it dissipates across trivialities and distractions. By identifying the few critical tasks or actions that will have the greatest impact and directing your energy toward them, you create leverage that produces results disproportionate to effort. Alignment of focus and energy requires not only clarity about priorities, but also discipline to ignore what is irrelevant, attractive, or urgent, but not important. Every distraction resisted, every small action directed intentionally toward your priorities compounds over time. This alignment transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. Momentum is created when energy flows in the direction of what matters most, and that momentum builds a force that carries you through challenges, obstacles, and uncertainty. Using gratitude and discipline to create momentum ensures that your day is not only productive, but sustainable and fulfilling. Gratitude shifts your perspective from lack to abundance, from frustration to opportunity, and from complaint to empowerment. Starting the day with gratitude changes the biochemistry of your body, energizes your mind, and aligns your emotions with possibility and solution-oriented thinking. Discipline reinforces this momentum by converting intention into action, ensuring that you do not rely solely on fleeting motivation. Discipline is the bridge between vision and execution. Without it, clarity, priming, and intention remain theoretical. With it, they become reality. When you integrate gratitude and discipline into your morning routine, you create a self-reinforcing cycle. Gratitude elevates your state, discipline channels it into action, and momentum compounds as you continue to execute consistently. Over time, this deliberate approach transforms ordinary mornings into extraordinary catalysts for long-term growth, achievement, and fulfillment. When all of these elements, clarity, priming, standards, alignment, gratitude, and discipline, are combined before you start your day, you are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. You become the master of your experience. External events no longer control your emotions, reactions, or decisions because you have already anchored yourself in purpose, focus, and intentionality. This preemptive ownership of your state and actions is the secret that separates average days from extraordinary ones and ultimately ordinary lives from exceptional ones. The power of starting every day intentionally cannot be overstated. By choosing clarity, you eliminate confusion and indecision, which are the primary causes of wasted energy. By priming your mind, body, and emotions, you set a foundation of power and readiness. By establishing standards and intentions, you protect your energy from distraction and mediocrity. By aligning focus and energy with your highest priorities, you leverage your finite resources for maximum impact. By integrating gratitude and discipline, you create self-sustaining momentum that propels you forward even in the face of obstacles. Each of these elements is powerful on its own, but when combined, they produce exponential results that define not only the quality of your day, but the trajectory of your life. Most people overlook the importance of these moments before the day begins because they underestimate the compounding NG effect of small, intentional actions. They fail to realize that the first 30 minutes of their day are the most critical, setting the template for how they think, feel, and act. What you feed your mind and body during this window shapes the decisions, focus, and productivity that follow. Small, consistent steps repeated daily accumulate into massive results over time. The person who wakes up deliberately, primes their state, and executes with intention becomes unstoppable, while the person who drifts wakes up to a day dictated by circumstance, distraction, and the expectations of others. Creating a morning routine that incorporates these principles is not about perfection, it's about commitment. It's about deciding that no matter what happens the night before, no matter how you feel upon waking, you will anchor yourself in clarity, priming, standards, alignment, gratitude, and discipline. This is how extraordinary individuals operate. They don't wait for circumstances to give them energy, focus, or clarity. They generate it themselves. They create conditions for success before the world can interfere. By repeating this process daily, you train your nervous system, your mind, and your body to operate at a higher level. You develop resilience, consistency, and momentum that are not dependent on external validation or fleeting motivation. Your identity begins to shift. You become someone who commands their day rather than someone whose day commands them. Recognition, achievement, and fulfillment are natural byproducts of this intentional approach. The mornings become the anchor points from which you operate in alignment with your goals, standards, and purpose. The accumulation of these pre-dawn decisions compounds over time. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years. The consistent application of clarity, priming, standards, alignment, gratitude, and discipline transforms ordinary living into extraordinary life design. Small, deliberate actions compounded daily have the power to build extraordinary momentum that no external force can derail. In essence, the way you begin each day sets the trajectory for everything that follows. And mastering the moments before you start is the single most powerful lever you have to create lasting success and fulfillment. When you commit to this process, you stop reacting, stop drifting, and stop letting life happen to you. You begin to create life deliberately, intentionally, and powerfully. The trajectory of your day and ultimately your life is determined by the decisions you make before your day even begins. Every choice, action, and moment thereafter is magnified by the foundation you lay each morning. You become the architect of your life rather than a passive participant. Your mornings, when mastered, become the launching pad for exponential growth, unshakable confidence, and unstoppable momentum. Your clarity anchors your purpose. Your priming energizes your mind and body. Your standards protect your focus. Your alignment leverages your energy. Your gratitude elevates your state. Your discipline converts vision into reality. And when these forces combine consistently every morning, they compound into unstoppable momentum that propels you through every challenge, decision, and opportunity with power, precision, and purpose. This is why the moments before you start every day matter more than anything else. The habits you form in these quiet, intentional minutes define not just the quality of your day, but the trajectory of your entire life. Master this, and you will master your results, your impact, and your destiny. Every day becomes a building block toward a life of extraordinary achievement, influence, and fulfillment.